Weddings are supposed to be magical. They're full of music, laughter, and those moments you remember for the rest of your life. When I first heard about a big family wedding coming up, I was excited beyond words. I pictured myself in a beautiful dress. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Surrounded by relatives I hadn't seen in years, joining in the dancing, tasting every dish at the buffet, and just soaking up the joy. But that dream almost disappeared when my family decided I should take on a completely different role that day. Instead of being a guest, they wanted me to be the babysitter. Not just for 1 or 2 kids, but for 15. 15 children at a wedding. The moment I heard it, I knew something about this plan didn't sit right with me. And eventually, I made a choice that changed everything. Before all of this, my heart was set on celebrating. Weddings in my family aren't just parties, they're full-scale festivals. There's color everywhere, the tables groan under plates of food, and music keeps playing until late into the night. I imagined myself dancing with cousins, laughing at inside jokes, and maybe sneaking in an extra slice of cake when no one was looking. I felt like a guest who was about to step into a fairy tale. But my relatives had a different picture in mind for me, and their idea of my role turned my excitement into confusion. One evening, I was called into the living room where some of my aunts and uncles were talking about the wedding preparations. They were discussing decorations, food, and then suddenly my name came up. "You're so good with kids," my aunt said warmly. "We were thinking, maybe you could watch the little ones during the wedding. There will be about 15 children, and we just need someone responsible." At first I laughed. I thought she was joking. But as their faces stayed serious, I realized this was their actual plan. 15 kids. At a wedding full of distractions, noise, and chaos. And they expected me to handle it alone. I tried to imagine what that would even look like. The wedding hall crowded with guests, the music loud, and me somewhere in a corner with a group of children clinging to me, crying, running, spilling juice, or asking for the bathroom every 5 minutes. And while everyone else was out there dancing, chatting, and making memories, I'd be the one stuck managing tantrums. The more I thought about it, the heavier it felt. It wasn't that I disliked children. I love kids. They're funny and innocent, and I often enjoy spending time with them. But 15 all at once, in the middle of such a big celebration? That was too much. And what hurt most was how my family said it like it was already decided. As if my presence at the wedding was valuable only because I could work. For days, I struggled with my feelings. Part of me thought, maybe I should just do it. Maybe this is what family is about, helping each other. I didn't want anyone to call me selfish. But another part of me whispered, this is not fair. You deserve to enjoy the wedding too. You're not just a helper. You're part of this family celebration. I lay awake at night picturing how the evening would go if I agreed. I saw myself surrounded by restless children while the laughter and music carried on without me. I imagined missing the speeches, the dances, the moments everyone would talk about later. And that thought made me sad. That sadness turned into clarity. Deep inside, I knew I didn't want to spend the wedding this way. Finally, the time came when I couldn't hold it in any longer. At the next planning meeting, I took a deep breath and spoke up. I understand that you need help with the children, I began, my voice trembling a little. But I also want to be part of the wedding. I don't think it's fair for me to spend the entire evening babysitting. Maybe we can find another way. At first, the room went quiet. My aunt looked surprised. A few people seemed disappointed. One even said, "But you're so good with kids. Who else will do it?" I felt my heart race, but I smiled gently and answered, "Maybe we don't need just one person. Maybe everyone can take turns. Or maybe we can hire someone for the evening. But I want to be there celebrating, not sitting away from the fun." Saying those words wasn't easy. But the moment they left my mouth, I felt lighter, like I had just stood up for myself in a way I'd never done before. Of course, not everyone was happy. Some relatives whispered that I was being difficult, but others understood. One cousin even pulled me aside and said, "I'm glad you said something." I was worried they'd ask me next. Slowly, the idea began to make sense to everyone. Why put such a huge responsibility on just one person? It wasn't practical, and it wasn't fair. Eventually, the family agreed to hire a professional babysitter for the wedding. And that changed everything. The kids had someone trained to take care of them, with games and activities to keep them busy. And I was free to enjoy the celebration the way I had hoped. The wedding itself was magical, just as I'd imagined. The bride looked stunning, the hall was glowing with lights, and the music filled the air. I danced until my feet hurt, laughed until my stomach ached, and ate until I couldn't take another bite. The children were safe and happy in their own corner, playing with the babysitter. And I was able to be present, creating memories I would carry with me forever. That night, as I looked around the hall filled with smiling faces, I felt grateful that I had spoken up. Looking back, I realized this wasn't just about babysitting. It was about knowing my worth. Families sometimes expect too much without even realizing it. They assume you'll say yes because you've always been the one to help. But sometimes saying no is an act of love for yourself. It doesn't mean you love your family any less. It just means you understand your limits. It means you value your own happiness. By standing up for myself, I didn't ruin the wedding. I made it better. Not only for me, but for everyone. The children had proper care, and the adults didn't have to worry. Most importantly, I learned that it's okay to protect your joy, even in the middle of family expectations. That wedding is now one of my favorite memories. Not because of the decorations or even the food, but because of the lesson I carried home. I learned that family love doesn't mean sacrificing yourself completely. Sometimes it means finding balance, being honest about what you can and cannot do. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel your happiness is slipping away because of what others expect from you, remember this. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to change your plans. Your happiness matters just as much as everyone else's. Thank you so much for being here and listening to my story. Have you ever been in a situation where your family expected too much of you? Did you speak up, or did you go along with it? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. If this story touched you, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Every story here is about real emotions, real lessons, and the strength we find in everyday life. Lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video.